Ashlee Vance quotes. Good ideas are always crazy until they're not. The best minds of my generation are thinking about how to make people click ads. If the rules are such that you can't make progress, then you have to fight the rules. There needs to be a reason for a grade. I'd rather play video games, write software, and read books than try and get an A if there's no point in getting an A. One thing that Musk holds in the highest regard is resolve, and he respects people who continue on after being told no. We wanted flying cars, instead we got 140 characters. As his ex-wife, Justine, put it, he does what he wants, and he is relentless about it. It's Elon's world, and the rest of us live in it. He's been known to obsess over typos in emails to the point that he could not see past the errors and read the actual content of the messages. Even in social settings, Musk might get up from the dinner table without a word of explanation to head outside and look at the stars, simply because he's not willing to suffer fools or small talk. I'd rather play video games, write software, and read books than try and get an A if there's no point in getting an A. He seems to feel for the human species as a whole without always wanting to consider the wants and needs of individuals. The key test for an acronym is to ask whether it helps or hurts communication. Money is not his motivation, and, quite frankly, I think it just happens for him, Justine said. It's just there. He knows he can generate it. I just look at it as what grades do I need to get where I want to go? I think there are probably too many smart people pursuing internet stuff, finance, and law, Musk said on the way. That is part of the reason why we haven't seen as much innovation. That's my lesson for taking a vacation. Vacations will kill you. What's fascinating is that Musk remains willing to lose it all. To me, Elon is the shining example of how Silicon Valley might be able to reinvent itself and be more relevant than chasing these quick IPOs and focusing on getting incremental products out. I'm not sure why I'd want to talk about extremely sad events. It does no good for the future. If you've got other kids and obligations, then wallowing in sadness does no good for anyone around you. I'm not sure what should be done in such situations. The company would pick a plan of attack, and when it failed at something, it failed fast and then tried a new approach. To the extent that the world still doubts Elon, I think it's a reflection on the insanity of the world and not on the supposed insanity of Elon. Do you think I'm insane? When we first talked about the touchscreen, the guys came back and said, "There's nothing like that in the automotive supply chain," Musk said. I said, "I know. That's because it's never been put in a fucking car before." I think this needs to be done, and I don't see anyone else doing it. But there is now a degree to which you have to ask whether his success is an indictment on the rest of us who have been working on much more incremental things. To the extent that the world still doubts Elon, I think it's a reflection on the insanity of the world and not on the supposed insanity of Elon. Peter Thiel on Elon Musk. As the first dozen or so employees came to the offices, they were told that SpaceX's mission would be to emerge as the Southwest Airlines of space. Despite being an engineer, Musk's father was something of a Luddite and dismissive of the machine. Elon recounted that he said it was just for games and that you'd never be able to do real engineering on it. I just said, whatever. You don't know what you don't know. You realize there are all these things out there. I really like computer games, but then if I made really great computer games, how much effect would that have on the world? Musk sampled a handful of ideologies and then ended up more or less back where he had started, embracing the sci-fi lessons found in one of the most influential books in his life, The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, by Douglas Adams. I calculated the backstop value, and it was something like 50 cents on the dollar, while the actual debt was trading at 25 cents, Musk said. Maybe I read too many comics as a kid, Musk said. In the comics, it always seems like they are trying to save the world. It seemed like one should try to make the world a better place because the inverse makes no sense. You don't tell Elon you can't do something. That will get you kicked out of the room. You need everything lined up. After we presented the plan, he said, "Okay, thanks." Everyone was like, "Holy shit, he didn't fire you." When you realize that the Volkswagen Sign and Drive event is code for "we're making the experience of buying a car slightly less miserable than usual," you'll start to appreciate just how low the automotive industry has sunk. While the good times have been well chronicled, the subsequent bad times have been unsurprisingly ignored. It's more fun to reminisce on irrational exuberance than the mess that gets left behind.